Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend DG Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
Hi, this is Devin Grayson, and you are listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Diggity dank.
Hello and welcome back to another week of the Nightwing news. It's war, I tell ya. Robin War. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, it is.
Hello, I'm Kristen.
And that's right, kids. Today we're going to be talking Robin War from Robin War 1 and 2, Grayson 15, Detective Comics 47, We Are Robin number 7, and Robin, Son of Batman number 7.
That's a mouthful.
I know. So, yes. In the good old, well, not so good, New 52 era.
Yeah, there were a few signs in there that I was like, ooh, that really dated this comic.
Well, I mean, first of all, it was during the Grayson era.
Right. But then also when Jason makes that comment to Tim about how I guess technically you weren't Robin, you went straight to Red Robin. I was like, ooh. Because now, of course, they're like so pushing Tim. So I swear every solicit that comes out, they're like, the world's greatest Robin is doing this. The world's best Robin is doing this. I'm like, well, okay then.
Yeah, I know. All right, so yes, let's get to the whole story. I know we said we're not going to go issue by issue. We're just going to talk it as a whole. So let me see. I might have just get a quick synopsis here. If I can find one. Again, it was the event was December 2015 through January 2016. We also, but I told you
wow, all of those came out in only 2 months.
Well, yeah, it was like, it was 1 month of Grayson, 1 month of We Are Robin, 1 month of all those books.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, and then maybe We Are Robin Robin War number 2 maybe came out January.
Yeah, probably.
Oh my. Okay, all right. I do have a synopsis. All right. A young member of the We Are Robin movement named Travis sparks a citywide response to teenage vigilantes called the Robin Laws, which make any visual or verbal identification with the movement illegal. Councilwoman Noctua spearheads the legislation, doing so to earn her place in the Court of Owls. Because we're really pushing them. Duke Thomas, leader of one of the cells of the movement, calls a meeting, which is interrupted by Damian Wayne, current Robin, who objects rather violently to anyone else claiming the title. Oh, yeah, this too. James Gordon, current Batman, protests Noctua's orders to capture all of the Robins, but follows them when she refuses to relent. Damian takes him down, and Tim Drake and Jason Todd intervene, telling Damian to wait for Dick Grayson, the original Robin, current agent of Spiral. The Court of Owls murders Travis before he can follow Duke's guidance and stop the escalation of the war by turning himself in. Dick, Jason, Tim, and Damian train the Robin movement and lead them on several missions, all of which turn out to be Dick's plan to have the authorities capture all the Robins except himself to keep them safe. They are taken to a vast secret prison facility nicknamed The Cage, which houses a large number of aerial barred cells reminiscent of bird cages. Grayson runs into Gordon, and together they determine that Noctua seems to be benefiting from the war. The cage is taken over by the Owls, who force Tim and Jason to fight to the death. Instead, they release all of the Robins from the cages and begin an assault on the Owls' forces of Talons. The fight leads the Robins underneath Gotham Academy, where elite Talons, berserkers devised to destroy Gotham if the court lost control, are hatching. Batman, meaning Gordon, having split up from Grayson, shows up to stop the Talons, while Grayson meets with Lincoln March, who was released from the court's punishment for his betrayal of them during Batman Eternal to carry out his plan to ensnare Grayson as one of their agents. They've convinced Damian to join them to save Gotham as a ploy for Grayson to save the younger Robin by joining himself. Gordon and the Robins manage to destroy the elite Talons, but Grayson joins the Owls to save Damian and end the war. Duke and Damian seem to have become friends after the aftermath of their ordeals. As Dick meets with his brothers in the Batcave and explains his whereabouts during the fight with the elite Talons, Jason, Tim, and Damian voice their concerns about trusting Dick when they feel he isn't being honest. Dick reconfirms his dedication to his brothers and reasserts himself as the leader by reminding the three about why they have followed Bruce through it all in the first place. Family. Afterwards, Grayson is welcomed to the newly expanded International Parliament of Owls as he complies and says, "I am not Robin." So yes, lots going on here.
Yeah, that was pretty.
Did you know what was going on with Batman at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I'd read this before.
Yeah, but Bruce kind of has amnesia and doesn't remember he was Batman or anything. So yeah, and Gordon's running around in like a mechanical suit. Yes.
I remember that was kind of dumb, but
I do like that. Like Gordon recognized Tim or Dick, even though no one can like recognize his face. He's like, yeah, Dick Grayson was Nightwing.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that him and Gordon were actually working together.
Yeah, I actually liked this better than I thought I would because I remembered reading it before and being kind of annoyed. But I liked it better. I think the thing that was kind of annoying, or I mean, maybe annoying is not quite the right word, but is difficult is so of course Dick doing that where the Robins all get put into prison. On the one hand, you're like, because it's comic books and we are reading books in Robin, you're like, oh, what a jerk move. But of course, as someone who is now an adult, I'm like, oh yeah, of course you should have done that. So
yeah,
it's like very.
Yeah, I get it because it's like, oh, Dick betrayed them. It's like Dick wouldn't do that, but then it's like, but he's trying to protect them. That is a Dick move to try to protect the people in his life. So,
right, yeah. And it's kind of like, and is on the one hand, he's kind of trying to protect them, but it also seems that he probably kind of knows that something's going to happen and it's going to be good that they're all in prison. So it's kind of, you're like, ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. When I first read it, I remember feeling really torn because, yeah, on the one hand, because it's comic books, I was like, Dick, I can't believe you would betray them like that. On the other hand, like I said, as someone who, I mean, in 2015 when this came out, oh my God, I was 30 years old. So I was like, yeah, of course, these kids who are half my age should not be doing this.
Exactly.
But even as I read that, I knew because it's comics that was going to be like the wrong thing to do, even though, of course, it's the right thing to do.
Exactly. Again, I mean,
so there was that little bit of awkwardness. I felt like.
Yeah. And then how did you feel about the kid in the beginning? Because he was like singing, he fly, the trapeze and the song, and it's just like, oh yeah, because he was saved by the original Robin,
Yeah.
That was like his inspiration. Dick was his inspiration.
Yeah, so that was pretty good, but also a little like too close.
And yeah, and this was an early appearance of Duke because that's where he started is in the We Are Robin book. So
yeah. So I did think that it was good. How it's in the Robin War book. It was freaky, but that's why it was kind of good. Is that the guy did? And I can't remember who wrote it, but how when the cop pulls up and he sees Duke wearing those shoes, how he is like, boy, why are you wearing those shoes? And kind of throws him in. And I thought that was good because that kind of, and Duke kind of said some stuff about it. It kind of gestured toward this problem in American society, American policing, where yes, Duke is a child, or I mean, he's not a child, he's a youth. But when white people refer to black males as boy, they're not doing it nicely. And so I thought it was nice. It was good. It was socially aware of them to put that in there and then to kind of acknowledge it. And so I did like that. How a couple times Duke was thinking, oh, I'm great, I'm in jail. And of course, people will just statistically think this is where I should be and stuff. So I thought it was good that they made some of those acknowledgments.
Oh yeah, the more modern stories, yeah, they have been making more attempts to address certain social issues.
Yeah, and one thing that it's been a while since I read this, and in between there, I read I want to say an article, and then I think it was in this book that was about Robin and adolescence. That I think it was the same person that wrote it, talking about Robin Moore, and she was kind of the author was kind of dissing on Robin Moore for being sort of too white, in the sense that the Robin Moore and a lot of the books, We Are Robin, are kids of more marginalized identities. But really, in Robin War, you start with those kids and they get almost immediately pushed aside for a story that's mostly about Dick and Damian. And the author was kind of like, in something that's supposed to be about Robins, plural, and since it was partially in since it used the We Are Robins kids, it's like this isn't really living up to its it's like this isn't really living up to its potential, I guess, of being more representative. But I do have to say, so that was kind of in my head. But aside from Dick kind of betraying the kids, but like, you shouldn't do that. But also, like, of course you should do that. I thought it was actually a pretty good story. For Dick. So it's definitely not perfect, but I mean, if you're just going into it, it's like, is this a halfway decent Dick Grayson story? It's actually pretty decent.
Oh yeah. And I mean, the whole thing with the kids, getting pushed to the side. It's like, I mean, they did get some training from our Robins, and it's just like, how realistic would it have been? I mean, I know it's a comic book, but how realistic would it have been if you would have thrown street kids against Talons?
Right. Well, and I think the whole thing with We Are Robin and stuff was kind of emblematic of how DC tries at times to do more diverse things, and they are not always good at it. And I think it's sometimes because they kind of half-ass it. Because I felt like, okay, you wouldn't think giving these kids a whole book and stuff, but I felt like they never really. I mean, I read the We Are Robins, but I felt like they never really tried that hard with the kids. That they weren't really that memorable and stuff.
Yeah, well, again, it's like, the only one that really come out of there and shine, I think, is Duke. But yeah, it's kind of hard with a book like that because they are like amateurs who are just starting to try to crime fight, and it's just like you really can't throw them against super villains. So like a story like Robin War is going to be hard because it's like you need a threat it's going to give Dick and Damian and Jason and Tim a hard time, the Court of Owls, and it's like these kids can't go head to head with the Court of Owls. So yeah, I think that it's just the mixture of, it's like you have seasoned heroes and you have these new people, and it's just like the threat level is not going to be it's either going to be too easy for Dick and them, or it's going to be too hard for the kids. And yeah, I think that was the challenge. And again, maybe it could have been done better, but
I think not as much with Robin Moore. I just think as a whole, We Are Robin, they could have done better, because I think DC a little bit was like, yeah, look, we're trying to be diverse, but they're not really putting effort behind it.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe
look,
like
we have some Robins who are not white and are girls. Stop complaining. It's like, okay, but you don't really like do that much with them.
I don't know about approving the We Are Robins story and book, but I'm thinking this crossover was maybe just their attempt. Like if I don't know what the numbers were on that book, but it's just oh hey look, they got the seal of approval for, well, I was gonna say from at least from Dick and Tim and Jason and Damian not so much, but
Damian by the end.
yeah, but it's like, hey, look, the Robins give him the seal of approval. You should read this book. It does get eyes on the book when you're crossing over with Grayson, who's Dick's always popular, and then we didn't even read those, but there were like little one-offs like Red Hood and the Outlaws, like kind of bumped against this a little bit. So
yeah. So, but yeah, I thought. I mean, there is a lot of speechifying actually in this Robin War. I noticed. So, like when they come in, Dick at the end of the first one, he's I was the first Robin. I'll get the blame for what's going on. You're my responsibility. I want to make sure that you're trained, kind of thing. And then I think it's in. Yeah, mostly I screen cap stuff from the Grayson one, where they're talking it through, and stuff. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of exposition in this one.
yeah, well, what did you think of was that from the Grayson issue? Because I read these all at once. When he's like, I got to get back to Gotham, and he like dives out the window, and he's like, I am Robin.
Yeah, that was right at the end of Robin War #1. That was how that was near the end. Yeah.
Yeah,
because I think actually that thing that I just said, that might have been at the beginning of Grayson, actually, where it's like, you're not Robin, at least not yet.
Yeah, because I think they were trying again. They they could just been Robin. I mean Batman not that long ago, but I think they were trying to make Dick like not the father figure, maybe even just like a big brother figure. But again, just like Bruce is MIA, so it's like, yeah, basically this is all falling on Dick's shoulders. What do we do with these kids? Do we train them? Do we not train them? How much danger do we want to throw them in? This far
someone
in.
has to be the adult in the room,
Exactly,
as they say. And as someone, it sucks being the adult in the room. I mean, sometimes it's good, but sometimes you don't really feel like the adult, and then you're like, oh crap, I am the adult in this room.
And again,
maybe you don't feel like that, Phil, because you're always the adult because you have a kid. But I admit that I feel like that all the time.
Well, I mean, you're an educator. I mean, I'd hope you feel like an adult some of the time.
Yeah, but that's why it's always like most of the people I work with are just like my same age or older than me. But yeah, then I go into the classroom and I'm like, oh crud, now I'm the adult in the room. I'm the one that has to have all the answers.
But yeah, I just thought I again I like that, just Dick as like the figure, the role model, and then on the opposite end you have Damian who's just like amateurs.
Yeah. But yeah, so I liked how all the Robins are giving their how it can be Robin summarized, and Jason's like confidence, which I was glad that they had Jason say confidence or something, that they didn't have him say like anger or something, because that trope can get a little played out.
Well, yeah, once the New 52 came around, they kind of started painting Jason more in a positive light and not just like, oh, he's the psycho that came back from the dead,
Yeah, although they did have, that was funny when they were describing they're like, Jason, second Robin, died a noble death, came back less noble, or something. I thought that was pithy. But yeah, then of course Tim with investigation. And I thought it was pretty good. This is all still in Grayson. Because, of course, I feel like that was kind of, there was a lot of words in Grayson. Grayson was a comic I felt like that has more words than your average one anyway. Like a little bit bucking the tradition of of modern comics where it's like so few words. But I liked when Damian's all trying to be, you know, Robin's in your blood or not, and Dick's like, I disagree. It's not what you're not born into it. We can give them strength. And I thought that was good. Yeah, then of course Damian is like, the essence of being Robin is suffering. It's like, dang, kid. Maybe Damian's a Buddhist though, because that's what Buddha says. All life is suffering.
I was gonna say he was. I mean, until like 10, he was raised by Talia and Ra's al Ghul. I think he followed any religion.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's just what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
I think I partially remind me of it because that's what I'm going through with my students right now. Is in the world history class we're talking about these kind of new religions, as in like religions that pop up in like 500 BCE. So not like new, but new then. So I was like, oh, life is suffering.
I mean, I could see Damian taking that. I mean,
path. He does have some kind of Buddhist leanings, I think, since they sometimes portray him as a vegetarian and stuff.
Well,
he becomes a Buddhist monk in the Robins, doesn't he? In that alternate reality, I think he's like a
Buddhist monk. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I do like it, you know, Damian and his little, what was his nicknames? It was like for Jason, it was like, you know, was it hard to kill or was it easy to kill Robin or something? And this was like after Damian got killed and came back, and Tim's like, I should call you.
Yeah. Well, then he said something about it, and Tim was like, you're easy to kill too. I'm the only one. I'm not easy to kill, Robin, but something that sounds cooler than that or whatever. But yeah, then of course we see Dick's communicating with with Batman Gordon, and he gets everybody.
Yeah, I do like that they actually that they did like paint, you know, like I said, I did like the whole Dick and Gordon teaming up, and it didn't just like out of character make Gordon act, you know, be against them the whole time. Because it was so weird, like when he took over for Bruce, because it's like, you know what Gordon is. I mean, they kind of de-aged him for New 52, but then like he started getting like working it out and got all jacked to be Batman, and it's just like, it's like Gordon. Shaves the mustache. I'm like, that's not Gordon.
That's hilarious. I mean, yes, but then yes, to end it, like you said before. Well, that was in the synopsis, but yeah, how it says Batman said that being Robin is about one thing: family. Although I feel like that seems more like something that Robin would say to Batman.
Yeah,
but that was good, and obviously they did a good job of picking the words like, yep, Dick family, Tim investigation, Jason confidence. The only one I feel like it would have been nice if they could have said something a little more, I don't know, for Damian that wasn't suffering, but he had just died and recently come back from the dead. So I guess it kind of makes sense.
Exactly. And then the whole court of the court of owls and the parliament of owls, you know, basically they want the gray sun. And then they try to turn Damian so Dick will come in, which it looks like he does at the ends, but and it says they're going to continue that in Grayson, but I think that whenever they kind of wrap it up, when Rebirth rolls around and Dick gets his own Nightwing comic back, and
yeah, well, because the way they wrap it up is when he gets that thing from Midnighter, right? To like,
take the thing out of Damian's head,
suck the bomb,
Yeah, they because they threaten him. They say, they have a bomb in Damian's head. That's the only reason Dick goes along with it. Yeah.
I mean, the banter of Tim and Jason is pretty funny in this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Gordon looks so ridiculous in this. Now I'm
Yeah.
into the detective ones. Yeah.
Like
Like
he's
I
like,
knew it was Gordon because I know, but yeah, he looks. I
yeah, like
never like
when he
he does
climbs out
not
of
even
that.
look like the same person.
No, when he climbs out of that armor and he's wearing like that black Batman suit, he looks like Bruce. It looks like that's Bruce. You could see, you would think that's Bruce.
Well, he looks smaller than Bruce a little, but
A little, but I mean, he looks in pretty good shape. You know, again,
yeah, but it's the face. Yeah, it's the
yeah,
face. The haircut, he has like this mohawk and like you said, the no mustache and stuff. Yeah, he looks
yeah. 'Cause
ridiculous.
I think they kind of added for this story that he used to be, was it a Marine or something? I think so. Like,
Yeah, he does say something in here about like, yeah, I used to be a Marine, and I was like, what? Really?
for the purposes of the story.
Yes. But yeah, he did. Yeah, I was saying, you feel, Robin's your legacy, you feel for these kids. And then, yeah, they team up. And I did like, I think it was this one where they go to, yeah, the not the councilwoman's house and they're looking for it. And then he's like, sometimes it is easy because she just has it laying out on her coffee table or whatever. And I was like, yes, I like that because yes, sometimes they go a little too hardcore in superhero stories, and I read mystery novels and stuff where it's yes, everybody has 8,000 different fail safes, and you have to go through all this rigmarole just to get some information. It's like most people would not be like that. Most people, they just leave crap laying out all over their house.
Yeah.
So it's like once you get into their house, there you go.
But I mean, it made sense. I mean, the Court of Owls thing made sense, but it's like, yeah, in this era, they were. I mean, the Court of Owls was still kind of new because they were invented in 2011. But it's just like, yeah, they were another case of the Joker. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna use the hell out of these characters.
Yeah, yeah. And so I can understand maybe why when they had to make Dick do his amnesia, which was ridiculous, maybe why they wouldn't immediately want to use the Court of Owls because, they're overdone. But at the same time, the Court of Owls was really the only thing that made it make sense. So they needed to do it anyway. Oh, anyway, so yeah, then and We Are Robin, number 7, I capped because I thought it was funny. Well, because so Jason and Tim have their fight, and Damian's like, yeah, he's gonna kill him, but then they like, throw him up in the air, and he does some stuff, and then Tim is like, if we're keeping count, that stun I just pulled should put me firmly on top, and Jason's like, Dick probably could have done it in less time. It's like, oh man, these guys are on fire with each other.
I know. And it's not even just but all of them are just like, I could have did that better. Anytime someone pulls a stun, it's like, well, Dick could have did it better.
Yeah, they're like throwing anybody. Yeah, so that was like very brotherly camaraderie / not camaraderie. I don't know, when you want to annoy your brother.
Oh, that's the other thing I saw. I forget where I saw this or where people were saying they saw this, but I thought I saw recently that they're saying like Jason, like at this point right now in 2023 is supposed to be like 22 or 23 years old. So I was like, okay, so we're firmly saying, I mean, that's gonna put Dick make at least in his mid-20s, right?
Yeah. Oh, you know what I think I saw that on is they made dating profiles for the Valentine's, and there was one for Jason, and I think it said he was 21.
Okay.
21 or 22, I think. Yeah, I think you're right.
So I'm like, Dick's got to be like what, mid-20s now?
Well, see, it's hard because again, I mean, yes, I don't know, he's probably like 25 or something. Because I feel like they've always been a little smushy. I mean, just like Barbara has kind of gotten aged down. Either Dick has gotten aged down or Jason has gotten aged up or kind of both. Because, I mean, there was probably like at least 6 years different. I don't know. In my head, I always kind of thought it worked out because it kind of mirrored my own family with my cousins. But I always thought Dick and Jason were like maybe 6 years apart. Because then they kind of, I mean, I think, because if originally it felt like Dick left more when he was 20.
Yeah.
And Jason was maybe, I mean, that might have been more like 8 years. But then when they had Bruce kind of fire Dick was obviously younger. So if Jason was 12 to 14, Dick would have been 18-ish. So that'd be like 6 years thereabouts. And then I always felt like Tim was maybe 8 years younger than Dick. But then it's really hard with Damian. Then Damian's like at least 10 years younger.
Well, I think he was supposed to be like 10 years old when he first appeared, and I think they've aged him up, last I knew, to like 13, so.
I don't know, I mean, he still acts the same. It's like very hard to tell, I think, with Damian. But I mean, that's kind of typical with the Robins, is they're sort of, you know, tween teen hand wavy. Because I mean, you see that a ton with the Dick when he's little. I mean, we always talk about the birthday thing where Bruce is the creepy birthday spankings where Bruce is and he's like, it's like he's turning 8 or 9, but then there are 13 or 14 candles on his birthday cake. So it's like they're deliberately trying to obfuscate how old he is.
Oh, is that the one?
But yeah, I feel like they're making them closer in age. Although if Jason's 21, I mean, I do picture Tim as being like 18 or 19. So I guess that would fit.
Yeah.
But I think they're making Dick and Jason closer in age.
Yeah. And again, it's weird because it's like, Jason has died. He's gone into a Lazarus pit. So yeah, it's
right. Because you would think Jason dying and then getting revived would actually make him younger. But it feels like Jason dying and getting revived, somehow he like got a couple of extra years added on or something.
Yeah, I mean, it was a few years. It was like what, from 1988 to like 2005 or something in real time. But yeah, like in story time, I don't know how. Again, it's probably the time frame probably getting shorter and shorter in the story, but
right. Well, and I suppose the other thing is, I mean, Jason was definitely a kid when he died, but he's definitely an adult when he comes back. And I know part of that is they did that Red Hood Lost Days where Talia found him and sexually creeped on him and stuff before he came back to Gotham. But yeah, it's all very like it's all very hand wavy.
yes.
But we can safely determine that all of the Robins, except for Damian, are 18 or older because they're all living on their own now.
Yeah. So, although Damian's not 18, but yes, he is living on his own.
Well, I guess that's true. You can't really. But I'm pretty sure Tim's supposed to finally be 18.
I think so. Again, you never know. You never know, because right before New 52, I think he was supposed to be like 18, maybe. Yes, I don't know.
Well, I think he was 17 because that was one thing that really remember. That was one thing that super annoyed me was I felt like they made it unnecessarily complicated. That they were like, "Oh, Tim's 17. Now we have to go through all of these shenanigans to explain why he's not finishing high school and he needs to become an emancipated minor." And I was like, "Or you could have just said." Tim finished high school. He's 18 and he's taking a gap year. Like, poof, there you go. You don't have to do any weird things.
Yeah, again, it gets harder the more Robins they add to the list. It's like, because it's like, oh, well, how many years would? Because like New 52, it's like, oh, again, they planned that out so poorly because when they jumped in New 52, they're like, oh yeah, the DC universe has been going for 5 years, but you've had 4 Robins, so it's like, what, has everyone only been a Robin for a year?
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as we know, they've obviously gone back on that.
Oh yeah, they very quietly. They'll never admit it, but yes, they've quietly gone back on that.
Well, yeah, because nobody really. We were all like, of course. I mean, it destroyed way too many relationships.
Oh yeah, putting Cyborg in the Justice League. You know?
Well, I was just thinking with the Bat Family, like if Dick only hung out with Bruce for a year, I don't think that's gonna work. As like you saved me, just like I saved you. Oh yeah, because a whole year.
But it's like they put Cyborg right in the Justice League, and it's like he was never, he wasn't friends with like Gar or any of them, and it's just like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, it was nice for him to be promoted, if you will, to the Justice League, but it was not nice for him to have no friends.
Well, they made him a founding member of the Justice League in New 52. I'm like, no. If you want to move him to the Justice League after the Titans, yeah, cool. But it's like, don't take all those friendships away from him.
Right, yeah, because then he just becomes like isolated. Well, whatever. Okay. So then I think this is still in Weird Robin. No, this is a different one. I forgot to screen cap it, but probably the last. I don't know. I think it's near the end where we have Dick Grayson, the original sensational Robin. He started it. He'll finish it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Lincoln March. Wasn't he in pre-New 52?
There was a version of the character here. Let me look this up because I always get confused sometimes. Yeah, because this character's kind of disappeared. But yes, here we go. Lincoln March. Was the? I'm trying to remember because. Come on. Too much info here. Oh yeah, because he claimed to be like Thomas Wayne Jr. and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they painted him as like a possible like the brother Bruce never knew he had and stuff. And
yeah, well, and didn't he come in near the? Oh no, wait, no, I might be confusing him with Tommy Elliott. He was not. Was Lincoln March around when Bruce came back from the time stream and that kind of stuff, or was?
I'm trying to remember.
Because what's like Lincoln March and Dr. Hurt?
Dr. Hurt was no, because I don't think because I know Dr. Hurt was trying to convince Bruce that he was Bruce's father. He was taught. Dr. Hurt tried to pretend he was Thomas Wayne, and he was trying to convince everyone. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're not my son. Alfred had an affair with your mother and stuff. Just." And people revolted about on that idea, and that never came to pass. Oh, the villain was lying. Oh,
right. Yes. Well.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think Lincoln March might have, at least this version didn't appear until they started New 52. I think.
Okay, so he didn't come till Court of Owls.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was Tommy Elliott who was running around with Bruce's face when like Bruce was lost in the time stream and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Because remember, thinking them were trying to use them. They're like, no, we'll use you to convince people, to show people Bruce Wayne's not dead. Batman's dead. Bruce Wayne's not dead.
Yes, that one I remembered.
Lord. Yes, because although it is uncertain whether Lincoln March is truly Thomas Wayne Jr., Martha Wayne was pregnant at the time of a car crash at the intersection of Lincoln and March. Oh, God. I forgot about that. The official records indicate the baby was born but did not survive the night. Okay. Yeah, so again, once New 52 is over, I don't think they've ever really done anything with this character. So again, I don't know if anyone was too hyped about, secret Bruce Wayne brother. So
well, just gets more and more soap opera-y.
It's kind of weird though too, because it's like if you didn't know who Lincoln March was at the time, it's like they really didn't explain it in this story. It's just like, oh hey, Lincoln March. Oh, okay. There's a guy named Lincoln March. Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, the way they describe it because I screen capped that, they're like Lincoln March, pawn of apples, tasked with delivering the gray son of Gotham. So they're like, basically he's just a dude.
Again, and I
When
miss
it really gets down to it, you don't need to know.
I guess, but I miss like old comics. Is like back in the day, they would do like editor's notes where you'd have like an asterisk or something, and it'd be like, oh, see current issues of Batman, or see this issue or something.
Right. I
Uh,
don't know.
I know. Oh yeah, and this is when the Court of Owls was trying to go international with the Parliament of Owls, and who takes them down? Not Batman. Dick Gray.
I mean, that
Nightwing.
isn't that technically what a group of owls is called as a parliament?
Is it? Maybe.
I think so. I think it's
Maybe
like
someone-
a murder. It's like a murder of crows. It's a parliament of owls.
Maybe someone was like, hey, why don't we call it Parliament? Because that is the name.
I did like when he was, trying to get into Dick's head. He's like, "Oh, not being a Robin is a rejection of your mother's symbol," and I was like, "Yeah, that's right, Dick's mom, you."
Yeah, but he's like, he's like, why did you pick the Nightwing? The Nightwing, basically saying, oh, you're Destiny and now.
He's like, "Whatever."
Yeah, I know.
No, I'm not.
Again, double speak. It's like, no, Superman, fool.
Yeah, near the end, Batcave. Yeah, well, because they kind of wrap it up slightly weird. Because Dick's like doing his thing with the owls, and then everybody else is doing stuff, and they're like, "So where were you?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, talking with the owls." And Tim's all like, "You betrayed us, lied to us, locked us up." Oh yeah, that's what it was. And then Jason's like, "Yeah, now you want us to just jump back in with you?" Damian, punched in the face Robin and driven into the ground Robin or White. Why would we ever do that? I feel like this Damian is really, I don't know. On the one hand, I get that Damian would be very suspicious, but on the other hand, I feel like Damian would want to give Dick the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, then Dick's like, simple, because you did it for him, because I did it for him, and because I do it for all of you.
But that was our big cliffhanger. But the whole Court of Owls, which again they kind of made us wait till the Nightwing book came back.
Yeah. But of course, yeah, it was funny because he's like, "I'm not Robin." It's like, yeah, duh, you've been Nightwing for a long time, so it didn't even really feel like as intense as I think it was supposed to feel. At least that's what I thought.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, actually, it was kind of good you picked this because I wasn't super looking forward to reading it because I was like, I kind of remembered it badly, but then I read it and I was like, oh, this actually isn't that bad.
See?
I mean, sometimes a little bit convoluted. Maybe not convoluted, but sometimes like a lot of like, yep.
Yeah, again, I think that I don't know if that's for pacing a little bit too, just because it's like, we have to save some story because this is jumping from book to book to book.
Which is weird because normally I like words. I mean, I'm more of a words than a pictures person. It just, I don't know. Sometimes it felt off that it's like people were monologuing a lot.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, before we're done, remind me, I have a comment on our episode we did last week. Someone commented on the video on YouTube. So
okay, well, I mean, I think I'm done. I think I got it. What I came to say. You have anything else, Phil?
No, I think we summed it up. Again, it's a new, again, it's a good story. It's a new 52 era story, and it's basically like, I guess we're trying to legitimize like these new Robins, by our 4 boys giving them a little, pat on the head, a little bit of training, and go read this book. Yeah, we're upping the threat of the Court of Owls. All right, but okay. Last week when we covered the new issues, remember we were like, oh, I guess they're gonna be doing like this Titans arc until the Titans book comes out. Someone named on our YouTube, the video's on YouTube. So the names only has the initials MP. So MP said, I did read in a Popverse interview with Tom Taylor, that the Titans arc in Nightwing will conclude in issue 104 and a new Nightwing centric arc will start in issue 105. So pretty much
makes sense.
pretty much what we theorized. Yeah.
That'll be to launch the book. Titans go.
Basically, Tom Taylor saying, "Hey, go read this Titans book with Nightwing. I'm going to be writing too.
This other book I'm writing.
There's other book with Nightwing in it. Yes,
makes sense.
Yeah, and again,
well, it'll be good too because I don't think any of the others of the Titans have a book. So then,
not at the moment. Oh,
so then it'll like they'll be able to shine more as well.
Yeah. Again, no one's as popular as Dick Grayson.
Well, maybe Batman.
Well, I meant in the Titans.
Oh yeah, okay.
And remember what that one classic story told us. He's better than Batman.
He's a better billionaire than Batman.
What?
I said he's a better billionaire than Batman.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say better human being. Yes.
That too.
All right. So, anything else?
I think that's good.
All right. So, okay. So, yes, the next 2 weeks, we're going to keep going with some Grayson era stuff. Next week, we're going to cover Starfire 7 and 8 with special guest appearance by, Agent 37 himself. And then in 2 weeks, we'll finish off the regular Grayson series with Grayson 17 through 20. And then that'll take us to April, where we'll start doing some of the comics based on the animated series. So yeah, I know. I was gonna say I know she'll enjoy that. I think you'll like this. It's been a while since I read them, but I think you'll like the Starfire ones. Those are the only 2 issues of Starfire I read from that series. But I mean, it's kind of cute. It's
I think those were the only ones I read too. Well, if I remember, I think the Starfire is a little more, slightly more in line with like the way Starfire originally was. And maybe she's a little more in line with the way she is on TV, like the cartoon, as opposed to the way she was originally written in Red Hood and the Outlaws, which was
yeah, no string bikini here again. No. She's maybe a little more classic feel, and maybe she's an adult in this comic, but maybe more of like a Teen Titans Go, just like I don't want to say naive, but just
well, she is an alien, so there is a certain amount of like, I don't understand what's going on here because it's very different.
Different cultures, yes. All right, so we'll get to that next week, kids, and like I said, in 2 weeks we'll do Grayson 17 through 20. So yes, we'll wrap up the month with Agent 37. All right, so send us your thoughts on all of those. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And again, remember, if you want to check out our episodes, including our YouTube videos, merchandise, social media, I even have a list of who's on what show on there. Go to our new website, tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. And I know it's a long address, but it's right down there in the show notes. So check it out. And please, go to our YouTube channel, because we've been climbing. Today, we just hit 300 subscribers to our YouTube channel. So keep us.
Wow, really?
Yes, I think the interview myself and Mr. Rob Southgate did last week with Todd Stashwick from the current season of Star Trek Picard really helped us. So kids, go check that out if you like the Star Treks. All right, and while you're on the internet, again, it doesn't have to be a holiday. It's always a good time to go pick up Dick Grayson Boy Wonder on Amazon. So please, if you love, again, if you're a fan of Dick Grayson, or if you want to become a fan of Dick Grayson, yes, go pick up Dick Grayson, Boy Wonder. All right, so, because I was gonna say anything else, but I just did your plug. Pick up Dick Grayson, Boy Wonder. All right, kids. Thank you for joining. Thank you, children in the streets. We're not gonna lock you up. Just come back next time. Okay, next week, Starfire 7 and 8, and then in 2 weeks, Grayson 17 through 20. Oh yeah, then we get to a bunch of the animated series stuff, and then at the end of, I think the last week of March, we're doing the X-Men Teen Titans crossover issue, kids. All right. So lots of good stuff coming, kids. So remember, join us same wing time,
Same wing channel.
the Nightwing News. Keep it safe in the street, kids.